Alrighty, we are live with the Celtics, live post-game. Yeah, I figure that's a good use of the soundboard here. Celtics just got, honestly, by game's end, I think that's considered a smacking. You know what I mean? By game's end, I think that's considered the Celtics getting worked by the Sixers. For a lot of that game, a chunk of that game, it looked like, oh yeah, like they're battling, but damn, I'd be lying if I said I felt similar to how I felt the first time, which was a couple days ago that they lost to the Sixers. When they lost to the Sixers just a couple days ago, and that was by what? I forget, 8 points or something like that. I was like, you know what? We can't be mad about that. Played well. Things happened. We didn't have Tatum, yada, yada, yada. I can't even look at that game and say, we didn't have Tatum, I think Tatum obviously changes that game. I don't know how much. I think pretty drastically probably. But I wouldn't say that that's like the excuse after this game. Do you know what I'm saying? I think the Celtics, by game's end there, considerably got worked. Like they just looked gross, looked bad, looked disgusting, and really just looked like the worst team out of the two there. So yeah, I feel a little bit different, to be completely honest. I feel way different between, a loss on Wednesday to the exact same team as to this loss on Friday night. So happy Friday night to everyone. We're not sharing victory beers or having any victory drinks tonight, but we'll have we'll drink our sorrows away. Just kidding. Drink responsibly. But yeah, if you guys are watching, we'll get to the chat in a second. If you guys are watching on Periscope or YouTube or Twitch, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We're trying to get all that traffic over to YouTube, so if you're watching on any of those other platforms I mentioned, head over to YouTube and join the chat there. Subscribe to the channel and share it around. Yeah, for the ones just joining us, I started the show with a little soundboard action, and I think that's very applicable. Let's get to some of the chat, and then we will get to the box score. But again, my biggest take on that game is that the Celtics got smacked. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a couple positives we can pull when we look at the box score, but they got smacked. It didn't look like they were going to get smacked. They got smacked in some way, somehow. That ended up being a worse loss than what we saw on Wednesday night. So let's get to some of the chat here. Man, all right. Mustafa saying, I got two things to say. Danny Ainge's job seriously needs to be looked at. You cannot put this type of talent around the Jays and expect it to work out. As much as you want to blame Brad for lineups and rotations, he has no other choice. We all love Smart, and he's not starting to be as untouchable as we think. All right, I'm going to get to chat, I swear, but those are some good points that I want to get to here. So, Danny Ainge, I feel like I'm not... So, okay, it's still early in the year, right? It's still really early in the year, and I'm never on the train of, like, get rid of Danny, get rid of Brad. But some of the points here, and I think you actually put it really well here, you say he needs to be looked at, which is what my take has always been for Brad Stevens and Ainge. It's like, I don't want anyone feeling like they can just absolutely walk around untouchable in Boston. You know what I mean? We have too much of a history of winning and, expectations of future wins. So I don't disagree with the fact that, Danny Ainge needs to be... I think him and Brad Stevens both need to feel a little bit of a fire. I'm not trying to say get rid of Ainge, get rid of Brad Stevens, because I think that, until you have better options, I say it all the time. I don't want to sound like a broken record on the stream. But until you have a clear-cut better option, you don't make that switch or that drastic change. If this was the team that was not making the playoffs... Sorry, Kobe. Yikes. If this, I talk with my hands clearly. If this is a team that was not making the playoffs year in and year out, never mind the Eastern Conference Finals, then I think you can say, okay, you know what, screw the GM, screw the coach, let's try and make a drastic change, right? And it doesn't matter if it doesn't pay off, but this team is really good and has been really good. I think it makes it a little bit tougher, but I do like how you say, it needs to be looked at. And I kind of twist the words and say both of them, Ainge and Brad, need to feel a little bit of a fire, just for their coaching. Matthew saying such a bad second half, and Gear saying I don't feel good about this loss. Yeah, I mean, I did an entire podcast, which we've now done, of my Unleashed podcast. If you guys don't listen to that, check it out. We've done 3 podcasts in 3 days because, I'm just cranking out the content right now. But I did an entire podcast about you can't really be mad or upset about that loss to Philly on Wednesday. This is a completely different story. You can 1,000,000% be mad about this loss because the Celtics just stunk. They gacked it up towards the end of the game. They did. They did. All right, I'm going to get to the box score here early on. I know we have tons of chat to catch up on. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to keep current with it and keep up with you guys. But we got some housekeeping to do, and you guys know the box score is one of those things. So let's check out the Celtics box score here. I mean, most notable, Jaylen Brown on near 60% from the field, 60+% from three. Jaylen Brown looked like, even towards the end of the game. Now, Jaylen Brown, I don't want to knock him on a night like tonight because I think he tied his career high, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can fact check that. I'm not trying to knock him, but there was times during that game where I felt like Jaylen disappeared, okay? That's the one knock I'll say. But overall, he seemed like the guy that was constantly not wanting to lose that game. Okay? He seemed like he was not wanting to lose that game, and he did everything he could towards even the end of the game to not lose that game. So I guess, if I'm giving gold stars out, Jaylen Brown's the only one that I'm looking to give that to. Another one, second highest score here is Marcus Smart. We're going to talk about him, I'm sure, on this stream. 2 straight games now with 20-plus points, right? Today's game, he shot 17 times, and I get you're going to have to shoot with Tatum out. I understand that, but some of the shots Marcus Smart's taken, and we've said it, we've beat the dead horse on this stream. Some of these shots are dude, what are you doing, brother? So 20 points from him, fair. I'm almost more infatuated by the fact that Marcus Smart, in near 40 minutes, he played the most minutes on the team. He was a -2, so again, we're giving positives. We're throwing out negatives. Marcus Smart, 20 points. I'm not giving him credit for that. I think he shot a lot to get those 20 points. But a -2 from him, I would have guessed, based on how much Marcus Smart played, that it would have been a lot worse than that. But hey, and then Kemba Walker, 19 points. Kemba really didn't have the game we need him to have or want him to have. He disappeared too. But I think, given it that it's his 3rd game back, I don't know if we can breathe down his neck. I think Kemba's showing that, little by little, he is still filthy. But let's flip over to the Sixers box score here, because how do you beat this? How do you beat Joel Embiid again, going for, just around 40 points? I think between those 2 games, he averaged 40 points with 42 and 38. 38 points, 11 rebounds, went to the line 15 times, 93% from the line, 75%, 73%, whatever, from the field, and 100% from three. That's going to be tough to beat game in and game out. I don't think you're going to change that. But what you can change is limiting Tobias Harris for 85% from the field, 23 points. Ben Simmons going off late for 15 points. And then Seth Curry coming back and dropping 15. You can limit those other things. You're not going to stop Embiid, but, there was times during that game where the Celtics started to lose it and piss it away when Embiid wasn't even touching the ball. Everyone was beating them. So there's the box score. Let's get to some chat. We are behind. I apologize for that, but you guys know, the longtime viewers and whatnot know that the chat gets carried away on losses. I've made the joke before that it's good for the streams when the Celtics lose, but I would prefer, I'm such a bleed greener green teamer, bias, whatnot, that I almost prefer. I guess I shouldn't say this, but I prefer a worse stream as long as the Celtics win. I guess I like saying that because I think you guys can appreciate that, but let's get to some chat. Let's see. Danny saying, I feel like a parent right now. I'm not mad. I'm just very disappointed. It's a good way to put it. Like I said, I was bummed after last game. That's like your kid bringing home, and I wouldn't know, but bringing home like a C. You're kind of bummed, but the dude's still passing. If he brings home an F-, you're like, Jesus, Timmy, come on. So I think that's what those games were. You could get by with that game that they lost on Wednesday night. You obviously want the win, but even you could tell in the stream, we were kind of like, just don't know how to feel about it because we played okay. This game, it's kind of like, what the hell are you doing there? Get your ass into shape, study, do your stuff, do your homework. All right, Chief saying, I told you we'd go 0-4 without JT or JB. If one went down with COVID, we won one. But he did. He called it on, what was that? What stream was that? It was a few streams ago. It was obviously Jason Tatum's last game. Called it on the stream and then came true. So I'm going to tell you this right now, Brandon. Do not ever make a claim like that again, because clearly you got some sort of, if you say it on the stream, it comes through and comes to fruition. I see a lot of Periscope comments, guys. Come on, I'm telling you. Head over to the YouTube channel. I tweeted out the link. That's where these streams are moving. So head over to the YouTube channel and get involved over there. If you need to find it, because I know Twitter sometimes opens up in a weird version, just search Guy Boston Sports on YouTube and you will find it. Fresh is saying not a bad third, not a bad. Yikes! I'm making up words now. Fresh is saying bad third quarter for us tonight. Really messed up. I don't know if I've seen it in chat yet. Scroll across here, but there was a few big time issues I had with that third quarter. Not even from the scheme or anything like that. From just names that were playing. Jeff Teague and Grant Williams. Like somehow I feel like through the speakers on my TV, I just started oozing throw up. I saw them gacking that game away on my TV as I was watching. Grant Williams all around, but Jeff Teague on offense, and that's why we have Jeff Teague. So that was tough to watch. Like, tough to watch, because that's where, like, I'm not going to lie, and I'm sure you guys are in the same boat. You watch that, and you literally can say the Celtics are losing this game. And that's what blows, because they're pissing it away to a point where it's like, oh, no, they're not even treading water. They're just tying 40-pound dumbbells to their ankles and jumping in the deep end. And I think Grant Williams and Jeff Teague might have been those 40-pound dumbbells in this scenario. Sadly. All right. Steven saying again, are we going to talk about Smart? We will talk about Smart. Why don't we talk about him now? And I think it's been brought up in the streams before. Like, I think you guys are right in saying Marcus Smart's losing his sort of untouchableness or his, like, key value. But, and there is a but there, I don't think, like, Marcus Smart's necessarily the problem with this team. Am I crazy for saying that? Like, I don't think Marcus Smart's the problem. I think the fact that they have to turn to guys like Jeff Teague and Grant Williams and, you know, Semi Ojeleye seems to be cooling off. The fact that those are guys that are actually getting minutes, I feel like that's the problem to me. And now I'm just getting annoyed because those guys played really, really well with the exclusion of maybe Grant Williams to start the year. And you're kind of like, oh, yeah, the Celtics bench is taking a step up. They're good. It's the same old story as last year, and they didn't do anything to fix it last year. So are we going to have the same problem this year? You know what I mean? So, and I know that that's like a weird way to spin it around Marcus Smart, but I do think Marcus Smart, like, yes, the doing too much, the shooting too much, that sucks, but I don't know if that's like the issue. You know what I mean? I think that that's a very much, and this is a weird comparison. I know I'm behind on chat tonight, but I'll get to it. Marcus Smart, in my mind, is turning into the Terry Rozier of a couple years ago, where Kyrie was sucking and doing bad and poorly. Other guys were playing well. Like, Jaylen had lost his starting spot, and everyone was like, oh, Terry Rozier's a ball hog. And I'm like, guys, you can't blame the backup point guard for this team's struggles. You know, it's just the easy scapegoat, and for some reason, I think Marcus Smart's turning into the easy scapegoat here. So, I don't know. And I know, you know, Mustafa, you said it to start the stream. He's becoming less and less untouchable. I'm starting. It's sad to say that, but I'm starting to be on that boat. I'm not fully there yet, but I am. Gear saying, everyone drop a like on the YouTube stream. Even if you're not watching it on YouTube right now, head over to the YouTube stream and drop a like on this video, this stream. It definitely helps it out. The more likes we get, the more people we actually can see the replay. That's one great thing about YouTube. It posts it as a video, right? Afterwards, and then poof, all of a sudden, you know, we got more people tuning in, subscribing to the channel, and joining the chat next time. Birkin is saying the outcome of tonight, we will sweep them again. I see, that's what I was willing to jump on here and say. I was like, well, didn't last year they go 3-1 against us, or 1-3 when we played them, right? Or something like that. And then swept them, right? So I think with a healthy team and a team that's fully developed, I don't know if I worry about that team in a series. But that's tough to say when you just played them as if it was a 2-game playoff series and they kind of, you know, bent you over and showed you the 50 states, right? So I don't know where to make out on that. I am still confident in this team, but it's easy to say that when you lose to a team and then, you know, you're playing a bunch of teams and you don't see them again for a month. When you just pretty much played the beginning of a playoff season or series, you're down 0-2 now. So I don't know. But again, no Tatum. It's a massive factor. I don't have to tell you guys that. It's a massive factor. All right, guys, I'm catching up in the comments. I'm going to try and go through these fairly quickly, give my quick take on them, just so we can catch up, all right? Smart had the ball too much in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, says Wongy. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's my thing. Marcus Smart's doing too much. Mandy's saying just a lot of guys who don't belong on an NBA roster. It's true. They might belong on a roster, right? So, and I know what you're saying, so I'm going to give you the credit there. It's more or less they don't, like, in a game against your rival in this league, I know the Lakers, whatnot, but the Sixers are pretty much the Celtics' rival right now. In a game where it's a close game and we have to turn to just threw up my mouth a little bit. Grant Williams in a time of need. We have to go to Jeff Teague, and who knows if Teague would have been playing for if Pritchard was in. I don't know. You know, Pritchard came off the bench quick. I guess we haven't even touched on that. But the fact you have to go to guys like Grant Williams, it's like those are the guys that, yeah, you can keep them on your team, play a couple of minutes, but damn, you're not going to win an NBA championship with Grant Williams playing, you know, any allotment of a large amount of minutes. Steven saying, really need Tatum back. I can't take this. Yeah, they definitely need him back. Obviously, I think it's good news that he'll be back soon, but I would have loved to see him tonight. Danny saying, this game also felt winnable. Third quarter we played was so flat, then Embiid balled out. Yeah, and again, I don't think it was Embiid that beat the Celtics. Like, I think he's going to go off. I think it's all the extracurriculars that were going on around him, to be completely honest. I think that you're right, though, with the fact that game felt winnable. St. Patrick says, we almost got it when the lead was down to 3, but sloppy offense. Yeah, so there was a moment where I was like, okay, let's go, let's do it, let's turn it up. And then immediately, am I mistaken in the time frame here? They got it down late in the game, and I was like, okay, let's go. And then immediately, like within a second, it seemed like it was like, holy crap, never mind, this game's not even close. I was like, what did I just watch? Ugh. Steven saying, just ruined his night. Same here. But again, I've said it over and over. These streams, I can come on, vent, bitch, and moan, sound like the spoiled Celtics brat, and somehow, you know, I'm feeling better by the end of the stream. I hope that's the same for you guys, too. Fresh is saying 42 from JB is a positive. Chief saying smart is smart. He's the heart and soul of the team. Love him or hate him at all times when we need him. Yeah, I like I said, I think, you know, if this is the bar graph of trading Smart and this was untouchable and this is, you know, really touchable, I think that I'm more or less, you know, when I was over here at untouchable, I'm more or less, you know, I'm trending in this direction, but I got a long way to go before I say let's go trade him. Benjamin saying Doc got outcoached by Brad. Got outcoached by Brad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think that this game even came down to coaching. So yeah, if Brad or Doc outcoached Brad, I don't know which way you're saying it, but I would say, if it was my opinion, I didn't even notice Brad Stevens that game, whereas I noticed Doc. So I think if we had to have the coach matchup tonight, I think Doc gets the win there. I don't know if that's what you're saying, Benjamin. Let me know. But I don't know if the coaching was the reason, but if I had to give a tick for a point in someone's favor, I think Doc was the better coach, which, I mean, Doc's a great coach. Steven says, Smart lost this game. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, I could see why people think that. Like, I'm not even really going to disagree with that. It's more or less the overall picture now that we've seen it stream in and stream out from people saying that, you know? So there were so many Smart shot like 5 straight shots, it seems like, late in the game, and he kept missing. So yeah, I'm not gonna totally disagree with that. Birkin says Romeo plus Jaylen plus Jason plus Time Lord banner 18. I'd love that. I'd love it. That means that their lottery pick last year wasn't a bust. Their 2 stars keep being stars, and then Time Lord makes his way up. I'll take that. I'll take it, but we have a long way to go, it seems, for that. Gear says Danny and Brad need to make lineups that will help Jaylen and Jason. Yeah, and again, Jason wasn't available tonight, right? So it is tough because we've seen, even when Brad Stevens had 4 stars last year, he seemed to like somehow find ways to not play any of them. And the fact when you have a Kemba Walker as your star who's just coming back off injury and a Jaylen Brown and then Jason Tatum's out, it's like I can't trust Brad to make sure one of them stays in. I don't know. Fresh is saying Tice might as well play aggressively. He's gonna get a foul anyway. Yeah, that's true. Tice might as well just play hard and not care about fouling if he's gonna get the call. Because I am so, like, you guys have seen me on the stream go back and forth on this war on Tice. Like, I'm fed up with the Tice never thinking he commits a foul. But then there's games like tonight where he doesn't commit a foul and he gets called for a foul. So I have no clue where to make out on it. It's crazy. Steven saying, not going to lie, I love Ainge, but I said at the beginning of the year, this is the most disappointing offseason to date. One of, definitely. Wongy saying, do you remember at the start of the season I said about if JT or JB is out? Yeah, and that's the point. Like, if they're out right now, and that's even the crazy thing is talking about depending on scoring and where are they going to come from, how are we going to get wins with them out? Even with them in, they're still super young. Like, I know they haven't let us down while playing yet, and they both seem to combine for like 50 points no matter what. But even still, if we have to just rely on them, that's why I can't trade Kemba, Because they either you're relying on a 24, 23-year-old, or if one of them's out, you're really only relying on one of those guys. It's tough, and I think Teague was supposed to mitigate some of that, and that doesn't seem to be happening. Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is the lowest I've been on this team so far this year. 3 straight losses, and one was a bad loss to the Knicks. I kind of was willing to throw that out. It was like funny to me. Now you played 2 games where you could still win without Tatum. You could have won both those games, and you didn't. It's tough. Greg says, Celtics also clearly ain't great at drafting, so trading picks should not be a bad thing. Yeah, like when they say, 2 second-round picks for P.J. Tucker, I don't see who says no to that other than Danny Ainge. Fresh saying, Grant watching the ball go out of bounds, though. Grant, I don't know if I want to get started on him. I don't know if I can get started on Grant Williams. Oh, man. Grant Williams is synonymous with that. I can't get started on Grant Williams. We might do it, but I can't right now. Steven saying, I don't have any positives. I expect that out of Jaylen. Kemba just disappeared late. Smart losses the game. IDK about Tatum not playing. We're better than Philly. Yeah, I think that that's, towards the more negative side, but I'm with you there, Steven. It's like that's still a winnable game. No Tatum, with Tatum or without Tatum, It is. It is. Fresh saying, need PPs need to get better ASAP. Seriously, I hope it does. Knee sprain, which, you never really know with sprains. Like an ankle sprain can take longer to heal than a breaking your ankle, which is wild. So let's hope that's not the case. God saying, Celts played sloppy defense. They played sloppy everything down the stretch for one, and then at some crucial parts of that game. Totally. Gear says, when Kemba's bringing the ball up, Jaylen seems to play more passive. They're not fully in sync yet, I think. And I think they will, because we've seen a few times, but I don't think that they're fully in sync yet. Steven saying 20 points on 17 shots is not acceptable, just isn't good at all. Yeah, like I don't give Smart the 20-point bump tonight. Like I'm not like, oh, way to go, Smart, 20 points. I don't see it like that tonight. Claude saying, Danny has to make a move to help Tatum and Brown. Can't ride them both and have no help. Yeah, seriously. I think, and what's crazy is that I don't know if this is just me, but even if Danny Ainge didn't really believe that they needed anything else, which is crazy to me, but given last year and this year, you don't think he's heard and seen the outcry from fans of saying, give us one more guy. Here's player A, here's player B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down the alphabet. Get one of these guys. You don't think Danny Ainge has seen that? And I don't know why he wouldn't just, and this is, again, maybe just me, but if I was a GM, I'd be like, F it, let me just please the fan base. Let me just sign that guy that might help. But he does nothing. Nothing. Skipping ahead just a little bit, guys. If I miss your comments, I apologize for that, but we just have so many to catch up on. So, again, I hate to do it, but I've done it in the past. We're going to do it again. I got to skip ahead and comment just a little bit. Greg says, do you think Tatum will have the COVID bug and not be Tatum when he comes back? I hate to make a joke centered around anything with, someone saying COVID in it, so this isn't COVID related, but Jason Tatum, I guess, got a haircut. So you guys know what happens when Jason Tatum gets the cut. So I hope that if there's any sort of COVID bug and, getting slow to get back into things, I'm hoping for damn sure that haircut mitigates that for sure. Steven saying, Philly is ass. I'm sorry. I have no worries about them, but the Bucks and Nets score a lot. And if we put out that trash bench, IDK, bruh. I mean, if you think that bench, and you're in the stream thinking that bench is going to compete with the Nets or even the Bucks, like you say, that's going to be trouble. If we're going to beat those teams, it's on the backs of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kemba Walker. But like we've said multiple times in this stream, you need a little bit more help than that, right? You can't just rely on those guys, because the minute one of them has an off night, the minute one of them gets in foul trouble, which wouldn't even be an off night, Jaylen Brown could be on pace for 100 points if he gets 3 fouls early. It's like, oh boy, you're going to be in trouble. You need to be able to rely on guys, and I don't see why Danny Ainge can watch other teams sign Kyle Korver, get JJ Redick, get these veteran guys with niche talents off the bench, and Danny Ainge is like, ha-ha, let's go, Grant Williams. Let's go, Semi Ojeleye. Get your asses in there. Let's go show them what's up. Like, even Javonte Green, who I can't rag on tonight. I think Javonte Green's kind of a little spark plug. I mean, he doesn't do much, but I think he's a kind of a little spark plug. The fact that Javonte Green, who no one knew existed less than 2 years ago, is playing late in the game against your absolute rival. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's an issue. I think that, like I said, I'm not trying to rag on him. He's just kind of the example here, but no one knew who he was a couple of years ago, and now because your team's so thin, you have to play Javonte Green in crunch time situations. Like, come on. And again, I want to make it clear, I don't think that that's Javonte Green's, like, fault, and I think that he is sort of like he's worked his way into being an absolute NBA player, but come on. Come on. If Javonte Green's playing 20 minutes for you, you're not an NBA team. Or an NBA championship team, I should say, because clearly you're an NBA team. And I feel bad because I do like Javonte Green. But you guys get the point. You guys got to understand what I'm saying. Ray's saying PP time over Teague time. Yeah, I really hope that he's okay because I think he is just better. Like, you guys know, I've pumped some gas into Teague. I think he's going to be good for this team, but he's proven me wrong by the game. Absolutely. Jason saying, we have nothing for Embiid. Brad has nothing, no game plan for him. Yeah, and I agree, but I don't know if you can game plan against Embiid. I might be in the minority here, but I do think that you not let Embiid do his thing. Like, I don't like that. I probably said that a couple times. I more or less expect Embiid to do his thing. But you got to put some sort of game plan in the off chance that you can stop him, and double teaming him 4 times a game isn't it. Like even when Brad Stevens was interviewed right after that game, it was like, oh, you're double teaming. He's like, oh, no. Whoa. We only double teamed him twice. I was like, dude, what? The reporter's just saying you double teamed him. Like, Brad Stevens made it a point to say we weren't just throwing double teams at him constantly. I'm like, okay, slow down, pal. Chiefs saying post-COVID Tatum, any Tatum we've ever witnessed. Let's see. That's antibodies. I mean, I had COVID and now I have the antibodies and I feel like I'm invincible. Still being safe though. I don't know enough about it to say like, oh, I can't get it again or I can't give it to, if I go visit my parents, anything like that. But Jason Tatum, antibodies Tatum might be a baller. And again, I know I'm not making jokes about COVID. I know how serious it is. All right. Steven saying Smart missed a layup. Smart missed multiple layups. Jason saying he hit the like on YouTube. I'll say it again. I'm going to keep plugging this crap. Guys, if you're watching on Periscope, if you're watching anywhere else other than YouTube, head over to YouTube right now. It is going to be our platform moving forward. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like on this stream right now. We're seeing this grow slowly, and, we built up that audience on Periscope, which is most of you guys where you came from, and it's cool to start to build something again, but it is Twitter just Xing out Periscope pretty soon, so keep that in mind, guys. It's not just me being like, I don't even want to do Periscope anymore. I know how easy it is to tune in to on Periscope. I know how easy it is, but Twitter's saying no more after, I think, March, so we're trying to move over to YouTube. Chief says, we sure do call the foul and slow down. I think you're responding to Jason. My bad. I just read that like you were talking about Paul Pierce. I'm losing it. Ray says, does it still baffle anyone that Dwight Howard's on the Sixers or just me? That is such a pickup for them. To go from Joel Embiid to, obviously not the same offensive talent, but just a big-ass body and a rebounder and, no shortness of physical play. For a team to have to, oh, yeah, we just got through the Embiid minutes. Now bring in your backup center. Dwight Howard. Previous like that guy, Dwight Howard, really, we have to play him now? It's a good pickup for them. It really is. Steven saying, after we got it till 3, Smart missed the layup. Oh, after we got it to 3, this is when I was trying to get the timeline. Smart missed the layup, then came down and fouled Simmons on the end one. Yes. I'm talking about Doc Rivers, I believe. Jason says, you have to get in the ref's ear. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. And that's what I said last year during the playoff run. I know everyone shit on Nick Nurse and how he was so annoying, but did you notice how that series turned when they were playing the Raptors because Nick Nurse was in the ref's ear, and these guys are humans. The refs are not robots. Eventually, they're just going to say, oh my God, screw it. Foul on that guy. And look at the coach and say, are you happy now? Doc Rivers does that. Brad Stevens does not. Does not. Maybe once in a blue moon we see Brad Stevens, yell at the ref. But damn, he does not get in the ref's ear. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. I agree. Greg saying they said Romeo isn't even close to being back. He'll never be healthy enough to contribute. Yeah, I'm not saving a seat for Romeo Langford. If he comes back and contribute, I'm in. Awesome. But by no means am I thinking, oh my God, Romeo Langford is a piece to the pie. When he gets back, because why would you believe that at this point? Why would you believe that Romeo Langford is going to come back and help this team without seeing it? Maybe you can hope for it, and I'm down with that. Green teamer all the way, rah rah. But anything that's any clues that you've seen about Romeo Langford, I wouldn't say are this guy's going to come back and save the squad. Jason says Brad should let the refs know about the crazy foul calls on Tice. If I was Brad Stevens, I would get all over the refs about those calls. You see Daniel Tice do it. The refs aren't going to... The squeaky wheel gets the grease if you're a coach. If you're a player, the squeaky wheel gets a tech. But Brad Stevens can do something about it. Over and over again. Get in there. Greg says they need to trade two second-round picks for... 2 round picks. I know what you're saying. 2 second-round picks for PJ Tucker and throw in any player near the end of the bench. Throw in any player. I'm down with that. Down with that. That's a guy that I think could take those Grant Williams and even Semi Ojeleye, who I still believe is having a good year, but a couple games in a row he's kind of looking like But yeah, give me PJ Tucker if that honestly, it doesn't even have to be for a cheap deal. If we can make a manageable deal and get him, fine. Jason saying Grant is out of his league. He is. He is. I talk about it on all the podcasts. I talk about Grant Williams being out of his league on actually, on the YouTube channel you're watching on right now. I just posted a video today talking about Grant Williams. Go check that out after this stream. I was just about to say on my podcast to talk about Grant. I talk about Grant Williams so much because people before now, I was early to this, and I still think the kid could be good. So I'm going to give that disclaimer. 1, to cover my ass, and 2, I do believe in those sort of guys that, have the high basketball IQ and motor and whatnot, but whatever that's worth. Grant Williams is not there yet, and people are ready to say he is, and that's the big issue. If everyone understood where Grant Williams was, we wouldn't have the Grant Williams stinks crowd. It's because there's 2 sides to this, where people either, call it like it is, like me with Grant Williams, and then there's the people that are like, Grant Williams is amazing. And I think that crowd's slowly but surely kind of dwindling down. Jason saying Sixers got that confident against Boston, don't want to see them in the playoffs. That's what, I know it was said by someone else earlier in the stream saying no, we could beat this team in the playoffs. It's well, what's telling you that? Because as I am still confident and will be confident in the Celtics, at the same time, you just got beat 2 games in 3 nights, and that's pretty much the replication of a playoff series. If this is a playoff series, the Celtics aren't sweeping because they're down 2-0. This isn't a regular season game where you play them, wait, 3 to 6 weeks, play them again. No. You just played them twice in 3 days, and quite frankly, kind of got your ass whooped each time. Let's keep getting to some comments here. Greg says, a guy I wish they brought up and signed away from Denver was Millsap. Yeah, I thought they were going to get Millsap. And people are like, he's old, blah, blah. Millsap would have helped the team. And he's had a history of killing the Celtics. So I think that he would have helped. I'm not infatuated by Paul Millsap, but he's better. He's a good ad. Big time. Good ad. Steven saying, my bad, I'm snapping. I'm just having such high expectations for this team. It looked good on paper, but the bench in general hasn't been good, and we're too reliant on our 3 stars. I just want to win. No problem for snapping. What am I doing? If you are snapping, Steven, then what am I doing? Because I got to be snapping some way, somehow here. I'm going to keep playing that sound pad. Did someone say Grant Williams? JJ would be a good pickup. Jason says, yeah, that'd be awesome. A guy like that would be awesome. I don't think people realize how much that type of take a guy that's even less mobile and less, good with the ball out in the shooting. A guy like Corver, any player like that, sharpshooter, I think that opens up the floor and is better for this team. They don't have anything that resembles that. Their bench players are all the same. Javonte Green, Semi Ojeleye, Grant Williams, they'll do the same shit, which is nothing. And I don't know, man. Nothing, but you want them to be good defenders. Nothing. Greg says, do you think Taco deserves more time? Because it seems like he should be helpful. If the Celtics are going to suck, give Taco more time. If not, I do think by the time Robert, like I think if you, I don't know if this is the stupid way to answer this, but I think if you play Taco, you do sort to limit Robert Williams' growth because that's where the minutes would come from. I don't think you're taking away from Thompson or Tice by playing Taco. I think they're going to keep their minutes. If anything, I have a feeling that it's going to be Robert Williams' minutes you come from. So then you got to pick your poison or pick your whatever the saying is. You know what I'm saying? If you want Taco Fall to play, then I think it's going to eat into Grant Williams. Hell yeah, sign me up. But Robert Williams' minutes. So I don't know. That's just me. Anthony says, I don't think people are considering the Sixers a real threat, but IDK about that. They have some good assets, and they added from last year. Yeah, I think they are a threat, and I think we should consider them that by now. Like, I'll probably fire off tweets like, the Sixers suck because I'm annoying. It's what I do. But the fact that they got Doc Rivers is the most, and this was talked about on the podcast, the Tommy Points podcast. Go listen to it. Riley brought it up. So he said the Sixers are like the team that he fears in the East. This was beginning of the season, before the season even started. So forget the Nets trade and whatnot. And he said, that the Sixers are worried. And me and Dante were like, why are you so worried about the Sixers? And he was like, well, they got Doc Rivers. And I was thinking about their roster, and it's like, oh, they, Seth Curry's good. And, maybe, yeah, Dwight Howard's good. But I didn't think really as far as, holy crap, if the Sixers just have a real coach like Doc Rivers, they could be a force. And, they're first in the East right now, if I'm not mistaken. They are a force. So that's a good point, Anthony. I don't think these guys are just guys we gloss over anymore at all. And you started to see that trend last year. I know you swept them in the playoffs, but they kind of dog-walked you in the regular season, too. So that's almost the trend. Like, they dog-walked you in the regular season, you beat them in the playoffs. What's going to happen this year? They dog-walk you in the regular season, and then maybe they dog-walk you in the playoffs, too? I don't know. Ray's saying Tatum's getting a haircut tomorrow. Enough said. Top 5. That's the best video, and that's why I'm pumped for him to come back. I think it's easy for me to come on and be the spoiled brat after a loss like this, but it is crucial how much Tatum impacts his team. And with a haircut, top 5. As if he's not right now too. The guy's bawling, kid's bawling, and he doesn't even have his haircut yet. JB says it's not our year. Celtics are not good. Season's over. I wouldn't go that far. But I don't think the Celtics are going to win the championship this year. I feel like I'm pretty transparent with that. Like, this is a learning year, but it's a great situation because it's a learning year while at the same time being able to, I guess, sort of contend. You know what I mean? Like, they can contend. They can still get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they can still, beat good teams. But ultimately, you're going to see what you got from this year, and guys are taking steps up. They're going to learn what they need to do with that trade exception. Like, it's a learning year while contending, which is kind of cool. I wouldn't say that's the worst. Wangi says, do we win those games with Hayward? With Tatum out, I think Hayward would definitely help. So I'm going to say yes, especially he's having a good year. I don't know if it has much more to do with that, though. Like, technically, I'm answering that from a standpoint of, okay, well, one star is gone in Tatum, right? He's been sitting out. If we had Hayward healthy, then that's just, a star that might replace that. So I'm going to say yes. Murillo, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but Murillo says Tatum comes back Sunday. I hope so. I hope Tatum comes back as soon as possible and stays back. The one good thing, and again, I feel like it's a touchy subject whenever I bring up COVID, so I'm not saying it's good that he had COVID, people, all right? But the one good thing, it's not like he had a knee injury or a shoulder injury or anything. He tested positive, and health and safety protocols ensued. And, technically that shouldn't impact his basketball game when he gets back. Jason says, fouls him hard, no floppy, double team and make him shoot threes, run Embiid up and down the court. Yeah, and they did that for a while. I tweeted, I was like, Embiid's rattled. They played him physical. They weren't letting him get his way, but at the same time, you do that, and Embiid doesn't score 38 points, he scores 28 and still kind of works you. But that can make a difference. So to your point, that can make a difference. St. Patrick saying, who wins the Celtics matchup against Embiid? Who on the Celtics can match up against Embiid? No one. No one. That's why I'm kind of like, you got to limit everything else around him because he's going to get his way. Now, you can do a better job rather than, a million foul shots. Actually, I have the box score. 1,210,654 foul shots for Embiid. That's the official number. You can do better than that. You can do better than, 38 and 42 points. I'm down with that, but he is going to get his way. Let's see. Ahan saying, finally here. What was that ending? You tell me, Ahan. You tell me. He said he called a 39-point game for Jaylen. 42 wasn't, and 42 wasn't enough. Yeah, you would think if I told you, Jaylen Brown is going to score 42 tonight, you'd be like, okay, Celtics win, right? Usually he is, and I've said it on this very stream that he is sort of the tone setter. When he plays well, the team plays well. Steven says, LOL, Ev, do you remember when we basically gave up Thibault for Edwards and Ty Jerome, who doesn't contribute, and the other isn't even on the team, looking like a bad move? Did we talk about this on a previous stream? I think Thibault would be good on, he would be taking that Semi Ojeleye and Grant Williams when he plays sort of the hybrid 3-4 and these Javonte Green minutes. He would be taking those roles, and I think that he would 1,000,000% be a contributor on this team. The fact that Carson Edwards is technically, I think, by way of trade association, is the guy that we have instead of that is laugh out loud funny. Let's see. Ahan saying against the Sixers in the playoffs, Celtics in 6, assuming Tatum, Jaylen, and Kemba all play. Yeah, I'm not fearing the Sixers team, but I think they can't just be completely overlooked. Ray saying the sound effects are absolutely killing me. Keep them coming. Well, yes, we'll keep. I'm gonna install some more of these on the soundboard, but we do have the official Grant Williams sound effect. I don't know if it's just me, being a dick to him, but I can almost picture Grant Williams like that weird jog he does while that is going on. Somehow this is coming from Steven, or Ray says Kyle Korver will be an absolute force on this team. Someone like that. I mean, I love Kyle Korver. I don't know. I just love the shooter in him. I think that type of guy would do so much more than people think for this team. Even if he only scores, 10 points a game off the bench, if you had the ability to put him on the floor, that all of a sudden just opens his floor drastically. Big time. Steven says literally and somehow Javonte plays the best out of all of them, but it's still the worst. I don't get how Danny can think the bench is acceptable. Yeah, going back to the Javonte Green rant. I mean, and I don't want to rag on Javonte, but the fact that he's playing is yikes. Sean says, get a real beer. All right, guys, come on. I feel like I can't drink Bud Light on a stream. Sponsor me, maybe? Then I can definitely, but without getting ragged on. It's what did AC, I think, a while back called it a preseason beer. Sean saying, get a real beer. I'll get a real beer when the Celtics beat the Sixers. Ray says, you'll probably discuss this on a podcast, but Cavs smoke the Nets tonight. What are your hopes for Sunday? Well, I think the easy hope is that all of a sudden the Celtics get back into the win column. And I do think if, taking the fact that these Cavs now have just been like, yeah, no, we're gonna take the Nets down, this team that everyone fears. I almost feel like that's their championship, and they've thrown it all on the line. I think almost come Sunday, the Celtics are like, all right, we need the win. So ready? Celtics coming off 3 bad losses. The Cavs are coming off a couple huge wins. I think that the tides turn, and then all of a sudden, back to reality. We'll see though. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Because I can't really just completely, bet against the Cavs. But Colin Sexton's out here playing, you know what I mean? Pulling it up right now. 25 and 9 from him tonight. Colin Sexton's playing pretty legit. All right, let's get to some more comments here. Comments are flying tonight. I don't even think I'm catching up, but we'll see. St. Patrick saying the Sixers are able to address their no shooting issues this year. Yeah, so they fixed that issue, and then they got a legitimate coach. So you're also saying, but the Celtics haven't addressed their no offense aside from Kemba and the Jays issue yet. The Celtics really haven't addressed much. Now I thought they did. Actually, okay, let me do this because I got to do a little Tristan Thompson defending here. I know people aren't liking what they see out of Tristan Thompson, and I don't either, what I'm seeing out of him, but I do want us to give him the slight pass for now that these matchups he's had to draw and had to play against is pretty damn tough. We're looking at Tristan Thompson in such a negative light these past 2 games, and he's had to cover Joel Embiid. And he hasn't done a good job. I get that. But we have to acknowledge the product there. It's not like when we rag on Jeff Teague or Grant Williams after tonight. It's like, what was the issue there? No, they just stunk independently. Tristan Thompson's getting bodied by one of the best players in the league. So I want to say that. But back to the point, I thought Teague and Thompson were going to be good signings, and I think that they are upgrades. Like, I still think Teague is an upgrade over Wanamaker. Like, I can only imagine this team if Wanamaker's playing, okay? But Teague hasn't done much. Thompson's could be doing more, so it's kind of... It's a tough, I guess, scenario, because it's like, I think that they got better in the offseason, but none of those pieces are coming to fruition, so then... Did they get better? Time's going to tell, and time's starting to say no, but we'll see. But Thompson, I'm not totally sold. Like, I'm not totally out on Thompson yet. I don't know if that's just me, hanging on to the last thread, but I am willing to give it a little bit more time because he's just he's had to cover. He covered a guy like Giannis earlier on, who's just, obviously, gets the ball, puts his head down and drives and Euro steps and spin moves, whatnot. And he has to get a guy like Embiid who backs down. It's like Kevin Durant, like, Thompson's got the short end of the stick so far, and he is making do with what he has. So I don't mean to overly defend him, but I do think it's worth noting. Oh, Benjamin says cheers. Cheers to Benjamin. My fake beer, according to some of you guys in the stream. But Ray says Embiid spent more time laying on the floor than the mop did. The fact that either one of them think they're right, saying like, oh, he's calling me a flop or I flop, and him and Marcus Smart, like, we know Marcus Smart flops and Embiid flops. I tweeted out that video of Embiid and had that bad flop. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys. I don't know if you saw it, but I tweeted it out saying like Embiid doesn't flop, right? And then someone responds to me, oh, and you're saying Marcus Smart doesn't flop? It's like, what? Dude, what? What are you talking about? Here we go. This is the one. So Embiid, when he hurt his neck and hurt his back, hurt his neck. Look at him. Watch him here. No way does Tyson move away from him. I get there's a little bump there, but watch Embiid just flop down. That was like, I forget who Marcus Smart was covering or who they were playing. Was it the Hawks? For some reason, I'm remembering the Hawks where Marcus Smart jumped. It was a couple of years ago. Just absolutely jumped out of bounds, like flipped out. I was like, bro, whoa. That's a bad flop. But I don't get either of them thinking they're right, being like, or Doc Rivers defending Embiid. Like, no. I'm sorry. Marcus Smart flops, Embiid flops. They both flop. Let's chill with either of them saying the other one flops, because you both do. Ahan saying teams in the East need to trade for JaVale if they can, just to cock block the Nets, even if they don't need him badly. Yeah, it's almost like they lose Jared Allen and then kind of get another one. You know what I mean? If they do that, and then it's like you didn't lose that guy if you do get him. So it's an interesting way of thinking about it. Do you beat them to the punch even if a team doesn't need him? I don't know. Ray says nothing wrong with a Bud Light. There we go. Cheers to Ray. Come on. I've shown plenty on the stream with the shotgun reviews that I don't just drink Bud Light, but if someone's trying to say Bud Light stinks, then that's a preference. But Bud Light doesn't. It's not the worst beer out there. It is just a staple, always a go-to. Like, and I'm gonna be satisfied. I know what I'm getting with it. So, all right, enough of the Bud Light hate here. I'm trying to get that sponsorship, and you guys are on here calling it a wimpy beer. Come on. Ray says, Wanamaker on the court makes me want to cry. Thankful we got Thompson. I think Thompson's going to prove to be a good signing. Teague, I thought was, but I don't know, man. I got to see a little bit more from Teague. Steven saying, you can't be mad at Thompson for Embiid. Where he's been disappointing is we're still getting out rebound and still don't get enough second chance points. And since he has no offense, isn't he like, I could just completely be pulling this out of my ass, but wasn't he ranked like top 5 for offensive rebounds in the league? Where the hell am I making? I got to be making that up. I have to, because I'm saying that, but as I said, I'm like, is that the first time I've heard that? So I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that. Been wrong before. But it's true. If forget the matchups, to your point, if he's the reason, if he's a guy that we're supposed to bring in and expect to alter the rebound game and play tough defense, and he doesn't do that, which I think he's done that to some extent, but if he doesn't change it, he's not a game changer, then what's the signing purpose? Excuse me. Wongy says, do you think Tice's improvement since joining is why we haven't signed an elite center? I think they might like Tice a lot. Brad Stevens, Danny Ainge, I do think that they might be sort of tied to Tice some way, shape, or form. So I think it's a good point. I think it could definitely be the case. I think that they've seen a lot of improvement, which, guys, if we have to give Tice credit, like, these leaps he's taken is crazy. What he did last year, forget the playoffs. I've already given my take on that, but what he did last year for this team was pretty damn impressive, and I think he's getting better and better, and they might be saying, oh, let's ride him out. He fits with the team, and he does help a lot, but it's kind of like, the Jay Crowder or the Avery Bradley or some other guys where it's like, are we valuing our guy too much? You know what I mean? Like, how many years do we have to hear Jay Crowder's the most valuable contract in the NBA? Do we miss Jay Crowder? Or Jonas Jerebko? No. You know what I mean? So, I think, sadly, I do like Tice. I think he's a grinder. But if Tice were to go and play in Sacramento, I don't know if we'd ever think about him again. Ray's saying, aside from multiple mishaps, from a couple swear to God, I've only had a handful of these. Aside from a couple mishaps, was pumped to have Time Lord back on the court tonight. He's a major key for our success this season. Yeah, and I think, he probably looks a lot better if he's not going up against Joel Embiid and Dwight Howard, right? Like, Time Lord is going to be huge this year. I guarantee that. Jason's confirming Thompson is towards the top in offensive rebounding. It might be offensive rebound percentage. I don't know, but I do think he has been doing that. Ray says, I know Pritchard's out tonight, but him and Rob Williams make a hella good plays together. Yeah, they do. They sort of seem to have that chemistry for sure. Jason says, Tice is getting better and he gets no respect from the refs. Isn't it sad, to your point, Jason, that we have to consider that? You know what I mean? Like, that is a consideration in my mind that it's proven to be a fact that Tice just gets no second thoughts and sort of, any sort of a long leash when it comes to referees, and that the fact that has to be considered stinks. But I don't know, guys. I think we're gonna start winding down the stream. Amazing stream, beautiful stream. Thank you so much for tuning in if you did, and obviously the real ones sticking around till the very end. I wish we could be going off tonight about a win against our rival here. Really, really christening in the weekend, but that's what we're left with. We're left with a stinky loss, and a loss that really ruined the night. And hopefully we can all enjoy our Saturdays. But damn, it sucks to see these losses. But what are you gonna do? I think when you weigh everything, it's like probably seems pretty foolish to be getting mad about these losses. One, in January, but two, just in the grand scheme of things. Like, I'm confident, a handful of years from now, the roles are going to reverse, and we're walking the Sixers, because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown will get even better. But anyways, that's down the road. It's neither here nor there. Thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next stream. Let's just hope it's a good one. Let's hope it's a good one. Is that fair enough? But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks again for tuning in. Go Celts. Go Celts. Come on, keep our heads up.